everyone has this grand idea of what PTS is supposed to be, this checklist, and they expect you to fill in these ovals. My ovals are pretty much rectangles, and I don't fit into a lot of those categories. I have issues that they say are this or they are that. I've been affected by my experiences in Iraq. Why does it have to have this label? And I take issue with that. So I had to go to a hearing, and it wasn't like a courtroom hearing. There was a recorder on the table and a man who didn't know me from a hole in his head and my advocate, and they talked to each other. They really didn't talk to me. They asked me a few questions and asked me to describe how I felt in this situation and how I felt in that situation. And that just, it didn't seem right, because I think people respond differently. But they informed me that that was all PTSD.
May I ask both of you, what is your understanding of post-traumatic stress disorder, and do you feel that you experienced it in any way?
Oh, I know I've experienced it.
In what ways?
Anger, just a lot of undirected, just generalized anger, frustration, where I used to think that I was very articulate. If I couldn't find the words that actually made sense in my own brain, I automatically assumed that they weren't making sense at all. So I had to constantly modify and refine the way I was trying to get my point across. After about trying to explain something to my own husband, who's already also suffered from the PTSD, he's also been deployed with the Marines. After I explained something to him 5 different ways, he's like, "Do you honestly think I didn't get the first time? Then why didn't you say so?" Because I didn't want to interrupt you and have you angry at me. It's a lot of just frustration on the fact that your world doesn't fit around you the way that it used to prior to deployment.
Sure.
So it's a matter of trying to get your feet back on the ground and make sure that the world isn't tilting at the wrong angle.
Michelle?
Well, as a mental health sergeant, I've had to read the DSM-4, and now it's the DSM-4-TR, so I'm really familiar with the symptoms and the criteria, but the way I've experienced it, hypervigilance, irritability through the roof. I had a honeymoon period when I came back from Iraq where things were great until that 19-year-old opened up her mouth and everything came crashing down, and I wanted to smash a desk over her head. My temper was off the charts. I had insomnia. It was horrible after that incident specifically. And I just started to notice, more and more people were, kind of getting a little chirpy in certain classes. I was a political science major, so that didn't help at all. But yeah, I had a hard time dealing with that. Keeping my temper under wraps was really, really tough. Other physiological symptoms, I know I'm sounding like a medic again, but just stomach problems. Sometimes at night, I mean, the reflux is so bad that I have to sleep almost upright.
Wow.
So a lot of that had to do with sleep disturbances and keeping my anger in check.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.